I just saw something about the XXXTentacion documentary, and I had to talk to you guys about this, because if this is true, then I have absolutely no faith that this documentary is going to go well. If you're not familiar, his team put out 2 albums after he died. Fans really criticized it and said that it felt like a bit of a money grab. With that being said, the label did sign a deal. He had to release 2 albums despite being dead, so his team did have to release 2 albums. With that being said, they cut out some features that were just good, such as Trippie Redd and others like that, for some people that would benefit the mother a bit more, that were signed to her label or something like that. That makes no sense. Why would you cut out somebody like Trippie Redd, who was there when he was alive, and he clearly would have wanted to work more with because they were on good terms when he died? Why would you want to skip off of someone like that on a song that could be good and switch to this guy who sounded like a dried SpongeBob? If you know the song I'm talking about, you know the song I'm talking about. But outside of that, and them not being willing to pay for good features because they didn't want to risk spending money on a project that could only make money. Anyway, outside of that, Denzel Curry went on Twitter and he put, "No, I'm not in the X documentary. No, I did not do an interview. Wouldn't be the first time they try to cut me out of history." Immediately after that, we see DJ Scheme put "me and you both main," meaning that he also was not in the documentary and also didn't do an interview. Now, that alone, we're gonna get to that. I saw, looking through the comments, I saw this. I don't know whether or not it's true. This might not be true, but someone said instead of getting managers and people who were close to X from the start, they got Playboy Cardi and Lil Uzi for the documentary. Now, they were on the Safewurd with X. I can give them that. I don't know how close they were to X at all. But there is no doubt in the entire world that DJ Scheme and Denzel Curry were far closer to X. Now, this isn't exactly a competition. It doesn't matter who was closest to X outside of the documentary. But for the documentary, you're covering from when this man was born to the day he died. It's like 20 years. I forget how old he was, but one or the other. In those 21 years, right before he blew up, he was living with Denzel Curry, making music with Denzel Curry, part of Denzel Curry's Florida scene. Denzel was bigger than X and kind of took X under his wing. And DJ Scheme was also with him before he went to jail and was making music with him. These guys were a massive part of X blowing up. He lived with Denzel Curry. That to cut Denzel out of it is absolutely wild. I know after X blew up, we didn't hear too much about him and Denzel, but if you listen to interviews, they constantly ask Denzel about X. It's clear that Denzel was a part of X's life. Now, outside of that, DJ Scheme constantly worked with X. If you look at clips of his concerts, DJ Scheme was there. And in the earlier days, Denzel Curry was also there. Denzel and him blew up around the same time, were from the same scene, and lived in the same house that Denzel Curry allowed X to live in. How in the world are you not getting them or former managers on this documentary? I think the closest analogy I could even make to something like this would be there being a court case and you having like 10 witnesses or so that saw your thing, and there were like 3 of them that were really close to whatever the crime was, and for whatever reason the defense just decides we're not gonna have one of the witnesses who were right there, we're just not gonna have them testify. We don't want to hear what they have to say. What are you... Now, again, his label is known to be concerned about the money. You can kind of give him a pass on the albums because maybe they didn't want to spend the money on the features. Poor choice. But maybe they didn't even want to put out the albums because it was after his death. They felt like it was disrespectful, so they just put out what they had to put out. This documentary is not in any contract. You do not have to put this out. Just like they didn't have to show the Lamborghini he died in like it was a museum, like it was a piece of art or something. They didn't have to do that. Now with this, with the documentary, you don't have to make the documentary. The other part from his team, you don't have to do a good job. And it seems clear just by these decisions that doing a good job isn't what they're concerned with. And if anything, this should highlight that they're in it specifically and exclusively for the money. How are you not going to get Denzel and DJ Scheme in there? If you don't have them, Who do you have? I know that Lil Uzi and Playboi Carti were in the freshman cypher with them. Billie Eilish talked about being close to him. Did you talk to her? Did you talk to ImDontai, who had a huge video with him, had talked to him on multiple occasions? As far as I know, much more than Playboi Carti and Lil Uzi, but we don't know. Maybe it was more with them. But still, did you talk to them? I thought I heard a rumor that either Dom is Live or ImDontai had somewhat of a say in some of the music decisions. I thought Cleo, X's mother, was going to them with some of it. For this documentary, who is saying no to Denzel Curry and DJ Scheme? Because, oh my god. Now, I can show you guys picture and picture and picture of Denzel Curry with X from a very early stage. You can look at concert clips over and over again. You can see DJ Scheme everywhere. My question to you guys is there any hope for this documentary? Do you believe there's any chance it's good? Because, I mean, cool, we'll get Uzi and like Playboi Carti's perspective, but what about these guys who were actually there the whole time and didn't get just like a surface level of X? I don't understand it, man. It's baffling.